The intertidal is an extremely productive ecosystem with a long history of human interaction and cultural significance and a reputation for beauty. But juxtaposing this beauty is the harshness of the intertidal environment, which is battered constantly by strong waves and is subject to environmental extremes in temperature, moisture, and salinity as the tide comes in and out all day, every day. If you spend time exploring this environment, you will quickly feel the pull to crouch down and reach into the cold pools, pull out a mystery shell, and start asking questions. You'll marvel at the power of this ecosystem where so many organisms manage to thrive under the crashing waves and harsh sun. Your hands will overflow with a stunning diversity of sponges, crabs, barnacles, clams, mussels, limpets, abalone, urchin, chitin, and snail. And all of these organisms are alive, living together and interacting with one another in a complex and vibrant ecological community. These individual species are highly connected through interactions, and these interactions can be good for both species, which is called mutualism, but they can also be negative, which is the case with competition. The most studied interaction is predator-prey, which is good for the predator and bad for the prey. My research aims to catalog all of these interactions and collect them in the form of a food web, which relays information about the structure of species interactions at the community level. This network is a useful tool for investigating how disturbance from environmental variability or human interaction affects the food web as a whole. This zoomed-out food web approach is valuable because a lot of the time our scientific methods like to break things down into parts and study them on the individual level. But when you look at these species as a collective, as a community, some really amazing dynamics can emerge. Filter feeders like mussels and barnacles filter seawater for planktonic organisms and primary producers, which they consume. And through consuming these organisms at the very base of the food web, they are a critical step in transferring energy upwards to their predators and to higher trophic levels. In the intertidal, some really important predators are seabirds. They're a really abundant and diverse group of species that prey on many intertidal invertebrates and exert strong top-down pressure on the food web through predation. Another group of organisms that tie the community together are ecosystem engineers, like kelp, that buffer strong crashing waves when the tide is high and provide moisture and protection when the tide is low and organisms need to face the sun's heat. The food web approach I am using summarizes this information about complex species interactions. And once the web is built, we can use mathematical models to simulate changes in species abundance. For example, if there's an increase in nutrients in the water, primary producers in the system, like algae and phytoplankton, may experience a boom in abundance, which may propagate up the food web, boosting abundance of consumers like herbivores and carnivores. Gaining a robust understanding of how communities as a whole respond to environmental and human-induced disturbance is essential for protecting the important ecosystem functions and services that derive from a healthy, functioning food web. And by applying ecosystem perspectives to understanding marine systems, we take important steps towards a more sustainable human interaction with marine communities.